as a fellowship trained physician, it was hard for you to get your macros and your nutrition. For you, it was difficult. I can only imagine what someone who didn't have your education, the resources, how difficult it's been for people.
I almost felt like even more guilty about it because yes, I am, I'm in medical school. I'm doing all these things. I'm taking care of patients. This seems really easy. Why can't I do it? Like what is wrong with me? So I literally for decades took it as like this moral failure on my part. Like I'm just not trying hard enough. I must be doing something wrong. And maybe if I do this XYZ thing, maybe this will help. But I've dieted myself to the point where I failed medical school anatomy the first time and I had to retake it.
Okay, wait, tell me more.
Oh gosh, I was working with a coach who gave me my meal plan instead of macros, and it kind of was around 1,100 calories, 5 45-minute sessions of cardio a day. Or no, five a week.
Okay, 5 a week. 5 a week. I was like, there's no way.
No. Excuse me.
That would be impossible for anyone.
Lifting four times a week, and then eating this X amount of calories. And some days there were no carbs, so it was just protein and fat. And I felt like garbage. I had entered medical school. Of course, it was summer anatomy for all of the overachievers who wanted to take it first. And then in the fall, when the rest of the med students come in, you can be a TA and you can put it on your resume and get paid. And of course I was going to do it. I couldn't sleep because the hunger pangs were so intense. I could hear my stomach growling. And then I would come into anatomy lab, just a zombie trying to figure out what muscle is what. And I'm just like, I don't know because I'm exhausted. And my neurons are just arguing over the last calorie. And so, I failed by a couple percentage points. And I just remember feeling like, wow, I'm nowhere even close to being lean. My lifts are all in the tank. And I just felt like I had to willpower my way through it. And I failed anatomy. Like this is like the worst way to start off my medical training. And so, I learned a whole lot of things from that experience. But for somebody to say that, oh, you just didn't try hard enough, I just want to be like, let me tell you, we tried. We really tried.
It's interesting, though, because we are seeing two sides of the story. And what do I mean by that? The people that don't use GLP-1s are saying, okay, well, if you use it, you're cheating. And as someone who was struggling with it and who tried, I mean, is that your perspective?
Oh gosh, no. I think it's an amazing tool to use and we have in the toolbox. And it has allowed not just for myself to thrive, so many other people were struggling to even get out of bed and get to the gym and found that, some days, like after starting this medication, their weight started to go down, but they also found the motivation to make it to the gym and start doing the things that everybody's telling them to do. Like, you need to eat less, you need to move more. Well, some people are still so stuck in a loop of, dysregulated hunger, feeling depressed and guilty because why can't I just do this thing? And here is this medication that shuts off that food noise, that persistent drive to think about food, that they can actually focus on the tasks that they need to do. Their quality of life just goes up and it only goes up from there.
And it's amazing. And the other part that I think that we're seeing online is who gets it, who deserves, for lack of a better term, to be able to utilize it.
Yeah. And, I'm so glad we're having this conversation now and not 4 years ago when the shortages were, apparent. And so you had people with type 2 diabetes, you had people with obesity kind of fighting over like who really deserves it. The technical FDA cutoff is over BMI over 30, and then BMI over 27 plus, some comorbidity like high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Like a syndrome X.
Right. And sure, like that makes sense. There is a little bit of wiggle room because I think a very common question I get asked is like, what about, somebody with a BMI of 26 or, because it's overweight, but it's not in, a normal BMI calorie who might be struggling. I think there is some gray room. And, in medicine, there's an art to it. So you have to think about somebody's diet history, and then why did they fail? Why did they struggle? And, are they having persistent food, thoughts about food? Like what happens, 10 weeks down the line or 12 weeks during a diet? Like, do you just stop working out? Do you, are you binge eating or whatnot? Like you have to ask these detailed questions about why it is, why did these other things not work? And so, it's not just a numbers game whatsoever.